Very.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Welcome to Primates, the podcast that looks at primates in popular culture from chimpanzee all the way down to chimpanzee. This week on the program, joining me in the monkey house, we've got two returning guests, some of my favourite primates in the whole world. We're here in Edinburgh town, live from a lounge room. It's Mr. Dave Warneke and Miss Jess Perkins.
Hey.
Do you go by Miss? I don't know, I wish I didn't start with Mr.
I'm not
and Miss.
Mrs., am I?
Ms?
Ms. I tick Ms on forms.
And I go as master, as we all know. My credit card says
Yeah.
master, despite the fact that I'm 28 years old and a master is someone who's under 18.
Yeah. And
Master
that's why I don't choose Miss. Because I'm like, I'm beyond Miss. I pay my taxes. I will be referred to as Ms. Thank you.
I miss people that don't pay their taxes.
Yes.
They've missed paying their taxes.
Correct. And
Ms. Perkins.
Yeah. I'm an unmarried woman and I'm fine with it.
Oh.
Roar.
Raw.
What I meant to say was no.
Roar.
Get married. Now.
Aw.
If you don't know Dave and Jess, they're from
Where have you been?
I do called Do Go On. And that is the reason why we're here in Edinburgh, because we're about to do a live one in a couple of nights' time. So, Jess, Dave,
Hello.
thank you so much for joining us here in the monkey house.
I mean,
Great to be here in the
we
monkey
had
house.
no choice. We are obviously all staying together on this tour.
Yeah, Jess and I are trying to go to sleep and you just chuck these microphones in our faces.
It's late. We're jet lagged. I want to go to bed. But yeah, no, absolutely. Happy to be here.
What did you think we just watched Ace Ventura Pet Detective for fun? Because I wasn't having fun.
I didn't hear anyone laughing. Did you?
No.
Except for that guy who made all those funny noises.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of us and only 2 couches here. Only 2, like we're some kind of animals.
No, we are real plebs.
Man, I had to share a couch.
Ace Ventura should be sorting us out. We're animals.
This Airbnb that Dave organised is a palace.
Oh,
I cannot believe we are staying right in the middle of the city and it's costing less than I pay in rent at home for a month. But that makes sense because we're only staying here for a couple of days.
That does make sense.
Basically,
For a
spend
month.
a month's rent on one night, and somehow Matt thinks it's a good deal.
I don't understand money very much.
No, you're not very good at it. But yeah, it is a palace with the tiniest bathroom.
Yes, it's quite the pad, but everything. Imagine everything being ginormous except the bathroom.
Our bedrooms are huge, probably bigger than my large room at home in Australia. But my bathroom at home is 4 times the size of this bathroom, and that's not a brag on my part.
Right, that's just how small this bathroom
Yes.
is. It really is a glorified cupboard that somehow they've managed to shove a bath in.
Yeah, that was definitely a cupboard, wasn't it? Prior to a renovation.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for having us.
Yeah, what did they do before? My theory is
Shat in buckets.
shat in buckets and just tossed them out the window.
And
because
showered in buckets.
all these
Hopefully not the same bucket.
Yeah, no, you got to get your bucket system down track.
all these buildings here in Great Britain and the UK and or the UK are real old, and they are from before times when people had showers and toilets.
Yeah.
So they had to, as an afterthought, squeeze one in the cupboard,
But
which is
we've
what they did before they had toilets. They used to squeeze one in
Is
the
that
cupboard.
an expression? I'm just got to go squeeze one in the cupboard, then we can go.
But we've also needed bathrooms for a really long time now, so you'd think the buildings would have caught up.
Dave told me an amazing fact yesterday. There was a time before baths.
Yeah, I was in the room too.
Yeah, but he said it to me.
We've been stuck together
for
this whole time.
4 days now.
And it's too many days.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm loving it. It's so good to be here in Scotland, in my homeland, because Stuart obviously is a Scottish name.
Is it?
Yeah, means sty warden, which
Warden.
turns out not to mean king of the pig pen like I thought it did.
Ah, it's more like a sty.
It's more like styes, like I think it's like head of the house sort of thing,
Ah,
like a steward.
My
Something like that.
grandfather was also born here, and next year will be 100 years since he was born here.
wow.
Scotland. Over in a smallish village called Straven.
Straven.
Not that far from Glasgow, which isn't that far from us. So maybe you could get to Straven.
No.
I did go there with my mum and visit some ancestors.
So been there, done that.
Yeah.
We're gonna-
I was 11 and I could not understand anything. They owned a farm and the farmer, I couldn't understand a word.
We're going to Glasgow tomorrow, so maybe we could go by there then. Oh,
Yeah.
my ancestors are from Perthshire in Blair Athol, small village. I've been there before as well, but I think it's a bit far for us to go tomorrow.
My family's from Sligo and Galway.
Oh, you're going to go there
Galway,
tomorrow?
Both
beautiful.
an island. No, Sligo is an island.
Well, I want to go there.
My Irish ancestry is from Killarney. Anyway, that's the end of our new boring segment called
I loved it.
People Talking About Old Stuff Too Much.
Old stuff. I mean, the places still exist.
That is a catchy segment.
This week, we're going to be talking about the movie Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. It was Jim Carrey's first feature film, and it
a
shot him...
bold introduction.
It really was. He didn't, and it, he didn't ease into the role.
Yeah.
I assume he was nominated for multiple awards, possibly Academy Awards for this role.
If
Raz
not,
Academy.
if not, robbed.
Yeah. No, he was robbed because I don't think that happened. This was actually suggested by a couple of people, Sophie from Melbourne and also Daryl Finland from Ipswich in the UK. Based on how they both suggested it, I think Sophie liked the idea of us ripping it, and Daryl Finland remembers the movie fondly.
Okay. Well, one of you's probably going to be satisfied with the episode.
This is from
Find out which one right now.
this is from Rotten Tomatoes. For those who aren't familiar with the film, here's a little breakdown. When your dog, bird, or water-dwelling mammal disappears, who do you call? Ace Ventura, played by Jim Carrey, is a low-rent private eye who specialises in recovering lost animals. So when Snowflake, Miami Dolphins' aquatic mascot, is kidnapped, team representative Melissa Robinson, played by Courtney Cox, puts Ace on the case. However, Snowflake isn't the only Miami Dolphin who's gone missing. Several key members of the team also disappear, including quarterback Dan Marino, who plays himself, who is spirited away while filming a TV commercial. With the Super Bowl only 2 weeks away, will Ace be able to find a Snowflake and the missing athletes in time to salvage the big game?
Okay, firstly, that gives away a lot. Secondly, if you're going to name a dolphin, do you name it Snowflake?
Yeah, that does seem like a weird name for it.
There's no correlation there at all. What would a dolphin be doing in the snow?
I would have called it Wet Lips.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
I love that.
Or Wet Beak, because they probably don't have lips.
Rusty Blowhole.
Rusty Blue. That is definitely...
A porn name.
Well, I was thinking of a maneuver.
Come on, baby, let's do the Rusty Blowhole.
Yeah, right, it's an old school dance.
Oh, yeah.
The Rusty Blowhole.
Yeah.
It's all on the hips.
I would have called it Dolphy Parton.
Oh, okay.
Ah, very good. So there's lots of better options than Snowflake.
Yeah.
Snowflake, is that a real... Because the Miami Dolphins is a real NFL team.
Yes, and
Dan Marino was a real player for them that you mentioned that
That's
plays
right.
himself in the film. But is that mascot real?
I looked up the Miami Dolphins mascot, and this came in 97, a few years after the film. It's called TD the Dolphin, or no, short for the Dolphin, and that's the official mascot. They had a
TD, short for the Dolphin.
That's...
My friends call me TD.
Yeah, that's pretty. But obviously they didn't put much thought into it. They just quickly picked a name, TD. It's obviously so No, wrong.
Oh, that took a panel, did it? The committee went to vote, did they?
13,000 names were suggested in a contest.
They chose the Dolphin. You're shitting me.
They chose the Dolphin.
Because there's always terrible things that are chosen.
From those, 528 names were suggested, and then they had a banquet.
Hang on, so you're saying 13,000 people voted?
Yeah.
528
names were taken as suggestions.
What about the other 12,500?
In the bin. They were so much worse than the Dolphin.
Wow.
And then what happened? So it goes to 500. How do they whittle it down?
I reckon the big man, the boss, he just went, who I assume the character from the movie is real.
Yep.
What was his name? Donald Trump?
No,
Ronald Rump. Something like that.
Ronald
Kemp.
And yeah, I reckon he's real.
So basically he said, I want to call it the Dolphin. And they went, no worries, you're a billionaire. Sure, you own the team.
Yeah.
So the competition was void.
That's class.
The Dolphin.
Yeah, that's...
And they called it TD.
Democracy is broken. I've said that for a long time.
You have.
And I mean, obviously, this is going back to the mid-90s, so
Before Ronald Rump was president.
And
was
before Bodie McBoatface.
That's true. It was also before 9/11. It was a more innocent time.
A
We were
pre-9/11
naive back
world.
then. It was.
Oh,
Yes.
I barely remember it.
We didn't know any better. Wow, you've lived your life in chaos.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always that way.
What?
Yeah. What did you guys think of the film?
Wow, Matt, that's a loaded question.
Well, I think I was the only one of the three of us that had never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, you've never seen it at all?
Never seen Ace Ventura Pet Detective. One of those ones
Ugh.
frequently referenced, and I'm always like, yeah, when people make references like, yeah, like Ace Ventura, and you're like, great.
You're like, alrighty then.
In rewatching it, I'm amazed a sequel was made.
Yeah. But did you like it the first time?
Oh, I think I was a child.
Yeah.
Well, it came out in 94, so I was 4. So I think by the time I actually saw it, I might have been 6 or 7. And I'm sure I found it fine.
I saw it on VHS. I reckon I was about 12-ish. And I remember loving it. But yeah, maybe that says something. Because I didn't particularly love it this time around. I found it like Jim Carrey was like quite annoying.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to punch him in the face.
But I guess that was the point.
But it was too much. Like, there's that kind of character and that intensity. Like, Robin Williams could be a lot as well. But Jim Carrey's facial expressions were too much.
He knew it was his big chance. This was his first time on the big screen. He needed to give it his all. He wanted to fill the screen, chew up the scene.
It basically was just a Jim Carrey fest.
Yeah.
This whole film.
There were scenes stolen by a capuchin monkey a few times, which made this movie relevant to this podcast.
That's how it qualifies.
Yeah, I believe the monkey was played by a monkey called Binks, and he was sort of Ace's roommate, one of many animals to share Ace's apartment against the landlord's rules.
It's nice to call them roommates, though, and not pets.
Yeah.
It's nice of you.
Oh, yeah?
Kind of like living with your parents and calling them your roommates.
Or calling them your pets.
Yeah. I gotta go home and feed the pets.
Yeah. The bitch.
Come here.
Which is a female dog. That's just a line from the movie.
Yeah.
The bitch. The bitch.
Your impression's getting pretty good, though, I gotta say.
Alrighty then. We're so tired.
I'm so tired.
Hey, have you guys ever wondered in the hour or so since we watched the movie about his hair and how it all came to be?
Yes. I wondered that during the movie.
It is a pretty wild do.
It is a great
It's
dude.
very whiffed.
Yeah. That's a real swirl. There's a swoop
it's a swirl.
to it.
And then there's also like
You can hang 10 off that
There's
hair.
a mullet. Yeah, there's a mullet at the back that then sort of half pipes down.
Yeah. It's a gnarly hairdo.
There's a hard, straight part down the side as well.
Yep.
We can see scalp.
Love that.
It looks
What's
a bit
going
like
on?
one of those.
I love to know there's scalp there.
Yeah.
You know those rock and rollers. Those people that have like hair that goes like sort of straight up Johnny
Yeah.
Bravo style.
So
Sort of-
rockabilly.
yeah, that rockabilly
quiff.
look. He sort of has a bit of that going on, but then adds in a little bit.
Now that now that I've opened my eyes for the first time during this recording and looked at your head, that hat on your head looks a little bit like a toned down
Very
Ace.
toned. A muted Ace
a
Ventura.
muted Ventura.
Yes.
Moot Ventura.
Yet you claim to have never seen the film before.
Yeah, I've been
Curious.
inspired by him. I like to call this do the alrighty then.
Oh, righty then. Anyway, the hairstylist on the film, Pauletta Lewis, was working with Jim Carrey, and this is from filmscouts.com. She was responsible for the now infamous, or infamous, depending on the region and dialect you're speaking. The infamous Ace hairdo, originally created for Ace Ventura Pet Detective, which is this movie. Lewis explains its origins.
I'm surprised it wasn't created for something else.
I think she was talking about the sequel. This is now from Pauletta. I was working with him on In Living Colour, which is a big TV comedy show in the 90s, when he asked me to design his hair for a movie called Ace Ventura.
Design my hair is a weird sentence.
He's kooky all the time.
I need you to design my hair.
I need an architect.
The look he told me he wanted was like a cockatoo from the back and normal from the front. So I started going to pet stores, getting books on birds, and that's how the Ace do was born.
Oh, this is pre-Google Images.
She definitely nailed the normal at the front. Not.
Not.
Oh, that was a classic
was
Dave
great.
Not.
That was great.
That was inspired by what I imagine something that Ace Ventura would say.
Definitely.
You got Dave nodded. Yeah, and that
hurts. That stings.
That is a big sting.
Hey, there's no shame in being beaten by the best.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true too.
Not.
Oh, hang on. My joke is being used against me. I can't handle that.
So I think the movie was pretty brief. It was less than an hour and a half long, and I think probably about 40 minutes was made up of him saying "Who's sir."
Who's there?
Yeah, I reckon if you go to IMDb and it says like key quotes, it's all just different variations of him saying loser.
Loser. That was a big burn in 1994. Who's sir?
I reckon we could bring that back.
I reckon we've
Calling
just
someone
done
a
it.
loser.
It's back now.
Starting with you, Warneke.
Hey,
All right.
Dave, you big loser.
Oh, God, it burns.
Yeah, that was good, Matt.
Yeah, you don't win at stuff. You're a loser at life. Were there any moment that there were a few times I had a bit of a laugh? You enjoy any of the
There were definitely bits that I did laugh at. Totally. I mean, some of the even still immature stuff still appeals to me. There's one scene where he goes off he says he's going to the bathroom, but really he's going to the billionaire's house undercover. And basically, he goes into the bathroom, which, as you pointed out, or which one of you pointed out, now people know where he is. He could have just snuck off and no one would have cared. But he says, "Oh, I've got to go to the bathroom."
Because he says, hopefully the... What's it?
Like the pate.
The pate looks better going out.
Yeah. And then he grabs his bottom and runs to the John, locks himself in, then sneaks out the back, does this terrible reconnaissance mission. And the guy is a collector of fish and he thinks he's stolen the dolphin. So he falls into a shark tank looking for the dolphin, and then it just cuts to him emerging from the toilet, covered in water, pants absolutely shredded by the shark. And he just goes...
And there's a line of people in the toilet by this stage.
Because he's been like half an hour in there. Not trying to draw attention to himself. And he just yells, "Woo! Nobody go in there! Woo!" And then Jess demanded that she would say that every time she goes to the bathroom from now on.
I forgot when I went just before.
I didn't.
Sorry.
I did it. I did
it.
the line.
Yeah.
It was a strong demand, and with the choreographed sort of dance move you did with it.
Oh, so I did enjoy that.
The only thing you had missing was you didn't fill your pocket with water and
He slapped
over
the pocket and he splashed a man.
Yeah, the butler who was standing nearby. So it's funny to wet the butler.
Oh, yeah.
That's good comedy.
I did enjoy that. I also enjoyed the scene where he's trying to get one of the police officers to help him and give him some information. So instead of talking to him with his face, he turns around and uses his hands to spread his butt cheeks to talk to the police officer through his butt. That I enjoyed.
That's good fun.
Because I distinctly remember doing that after seeing the film.
Right.
To my brother, obviously, because kids are gross, but that's gold.
I can't remember any of the... And it was all ass puns he was doing. Did he say something like, "excuse me" or something?
I think so, yeah.
What I loved about that scene was here he is being his crazy self. Then he starts talking through his ass. And the cop he's talking to is just being so completely reasonable. Like, "No, man, I'm going to get in trouble. You better get out. I can't be seen talking to you like this. I can't tell you." He's just so reasonable.
The cop he's talking to, of course, being...
Tone Loc.
The rapper.
From the very, very early 90s, whose big hits included "Wild Thing," "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," and "Funky Cold Medina."
Wow, a couple of big hits. But I also read that he was, at that stage, the biggest star in the movie when it went into production.
Oh, wow.
I suppose because those two songs were big hits.
And where is he now?
He's just riding that wave.
Fuck yeah, that's the way to do it. I would love to be a one-hit wonder. I would love to just do one good thing and then make heaps of cash from that and then just royalties.
Isn't it funny that that's seen as like a negative? You're a one-hit wonder. It's like, imagine having one huge success in your life
that funds the rest of your life comfortably.
A loser.
Yeah, you'd feel like a real loser.
And you get to live in relative privacy, have a normal family life, and
Yeah.
just coast.
Just occasionally get a Google alert on your name for being in a one-hit wonder blog.
Fine.
Where
whatever.
are they now?
I mean, if you didn't
Don't have Google alerts on
yeah, I was
yourself.
gonna say, just don't have a Google if you don't want
Oh,
that.
okay. I'm Tone Loc and I'm not having a Google alert on myself. Grow up.
Is he going to hear this then?
Yeah, of course he is. Google
You're gonna
alerts are
send it to
so
him?
sophisticated now that they can pick up us butchering the pronunciation of his name, I'm assuming. Do you know if that's how you pronounce his name?
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's definitely a pronounce.
Yeah, right. Because it's spelled Tone.
No, I've heard, I think it's Tone Loc. I've heard that. I'm
Tone
sure.
Loc. It
I'm a
sounds
big
sick. I
fan
love
of
that. Tone Loc.
Funky Cold Medina.
What is a
Funky
cold Medina? Obviously, I know what funky is.
I always imagined it was a cocktail, but is that probably not true?
I thought it was
Or is it a car?
I imagined a car for some reason, but I don't know why.
Funky cold.
Well, I don't want a cold car. Cold cocktail,
But
though.
you're a funky.
No, but it doesn't matter. I need to be comfortable in the car. Cold? No, thank you.
It's a city in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
That's definitely. I've just typed in Medina, and that's the first thing that came up.
All right. Funky cold Medina, though. That was from 1989.
I'm sorry I asked the question. You can stop Googling.
It was a beautiful question.
We need to know.
Dave, you find out. Well, I'll tell you a few of the key figures about this film. Released in February 1994. Running at under 90 minutes, as I said, about 86 minutes. It was budgeted at only 15 million. So that's why Tone Loc was the big star, because it was a smallish budget.
Right.
And
I love that 15 million is small.
Yeah, that's wild.
I could do a lot
million
with
back then as
$15
well.
million dollars.
You know, I mean, allow for inflation. We're
Yeah.
probably talking 16, 17 million.
Easily.
Can I answer that $17 million question?
18, 19 million, you know?
Yeah.
The Funky Cold Medina, the song title refers to a fictional aphrodisiac which is presented in the accompanying video as a steaming potion.
Okay, like a cocktail. Who
yeah,
was closer?
a cocktail of aphrodisiac.
Or like a car.
It sounds more like a date rape drug.
It does. Oh my God.
Funky, no, Jess, no.
Based on the video clip where it's just a potion,
Yeah,
some
that
steam
does.
you just put under someone's face and then they're all horny for you. That's what aphrodisiac means.
You can't. Could
Getting the
we get
horn.
through one film clip before calling problematic?
No, because all video clips are horny.
Yeah, they are. No, that does sound. It really does sound like a date rape drug.
Well, there is. I'm looking it up. There are cocktail recipes for the Funky Cold Medina on official, as official as they can look, cocktail websites.
Official cocktail. Put together by the cocktail.
Well, there is the International Bartenders Association, the IBA.
Yeah.
But,
It should have been International Bartenders Society. IBS.
Like.
Poopin'.
Pooping. Irritable bowel.
Correct.
Syndrome.
Syndrome.
But from that $15 million, they turned it into a box office takings of $107 million.
That is quite a turnaround.
that's a great deal.
That's a hit.
So you've covered your costs by that point.
Jim Carrey at the end of this film was a winner.
He never
Some
says.
work quote as well.
No.
He never says that.
Winner. So the film starts off. We see him. He's a pet detective. He earns his keep by finding missing pets, basically.
I'm claiming the reward.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like he's sought out all that often by people. It seems like he just finds reward posters around town.
He just sees a flyer and goes, "Oh, missing dog reward."
That's his full-time gig. Tax-wise, that's a nightmare, I reckon.
But also, the landlord is constantly pestering him for. Well, I say constantly. There's one scene asking for his rent money, which he says he doesn't have yet, but he's getting it. So he's clearly not doing that well in this profession.
No.
Yeah, it was weird that he was like angry with the landlord for asking for the rent that he owes. He's like, if I find this dolphin or this bird or whatever he was looking for at the time, I'll have your money.
Yeah,
Let me find the dolphin.
Just let me live here for free. Fuck.
It's really not the landlord's fault that you haven't found this dolphin,
Basically,
Ace.
the landlord sneaks up behind, doesn't just walks up behind him to ask for the money, and he's like, "The devil? Oh, sorry, I mistook you for someone else."
It's all hot zingers. So
TD. The dolphin or the devil.
or the Dave.
Synonymous.
And then he's looking for different pets, but the Miami Dolphins, big gridiron team in the American world of sport, their dolphin mascot is taken, Snowflake, and he's called in by Monica from Friends and the team at the Dolphins to find Snowflake again, and he's on the case.
Did you not find it odd that they would have a pool, a fairly shallow pool, set up at their football games for the dolphin?
Yeah, that's not a thing, is it, Matt?
To splash around.
Well, I don't
in?
know. I mean, the TD is a dolphin who is their mascot. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if TD's a man in a suit or what.
They had a pool set up.
And they even made jokes about how, like, an organisation that I guess was a parody of, like, PETA. It was a different word, acronym that stood for something else. But, like, they get complaints about...
Yeah.
TT is a man in a suit. Okay, so...
That's
but
okay.
do they still make him swim in a pool?
Yes.
It's very dangerous. They drown all the time.
Dolphins are it's a great sporting mascot. There would not be many teams around the world with the dolphin mascot. I love it. Very intelligent animal,
Feels like
apparently.
a
Smart.
hard suit to walk in.
Yeah.
You're going to have the tail coming
fin.
down, the fins.
But yeah, I just thought that was very odd that they would have a quite shallow pool next to the field for the dolphin to just splash around
Yeah,
in.
it feels like they need more than a baby's wading pool.
Yeah. It was the type of pool you could probably get from Kmart.
Yeah.
Like it'd be one of the top range ones.
Yeah, right.
But it'd be like $100.
$100.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
It'd have a pump or something and like some little plastic stairs.
Mm.
Like it's chest high for an adult kind of thing. A family pool.
Yeah, but anyway, they got in. Someone got in, took Snowflake away.
Not an easy thing to do, to steal a dolphin.
As the movie goes on, well, this is all spoilers. This show always is. The movie goes on. He's slowly tracking down the kidnapper of the dolphin napper, and his main clue is a little gem that he finds in the pool that was left
Minuscule.
behind.
It's so tiny.
In the filter of the wading pool.
Yeah.
And he knows because he's got great knowledge of the jewels used in championship rings. He knows that was from the 1984 runners-up rings in the gridiron comp, the NFL, and that was a Miami's Dolphin player. So he went through the whole roster at the time, which was a fun montage.
In a way, I liked when he chloroformed a guy.
Yeah, there's a guy that
fun.
he's trying to race next to every day because he's still a very fit athlete 10 years later. And Jim Carrey's character Ace Ventura just can't keep up with this athlete.
So he chloroforms him.
So yeah, by the third or fourth time you see him at the running track, he just dives on his back, and as Jess said, took a long time to take him down.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I reckon it would take more chloroform for him than for a small person.
Right.
I liked when he got himself punched so that he could see the imprint of the ring on his head.
That's smart. That was smart.
That was fun because he got the punching he deserved. What else did he
He was
do?
in a
Was that
mailbox.
the only time in the film where he got punched? Because it really deserves
He
a
deserved
lot more.
so many more.
There was a wrestle at the end with another sporting mascot, the Philadelphia Eagles.
But that was
Eagle.
odd and like not really a fight worth having.
Yeah, that was a very strange finish to this very strange film.
Yeah. Well,
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. And so he went through all the team, and he couldn't find it. But then, of course, there was a player that came in later than the photo he was going off, the team photo, and it was the kicker, whose name escapes me, but it was something like Troy Rundle or something like that.
No? Remember that they changed it to Stinker. Was it Finker?
Oh, Finkel.
Finkel.
Finkel's
Yeah,
right.
they changed
yeah.
Finkel to Stinkle.
That's
Very good
stuff.
wordplay.
Finkel.
Because it turned out that player had cost the team the Super Bowl.
Because they didn't place the ball from laces out like he liked it.
Yeah,
And-
they placed the ball in the wrong spot, one of his teammates, and Stinkler blamed the teammate, but the crowd and obviously fans of the franchise really blamed Stinkler.
They turned on Finkel big time and basically ran him out of the game, and the movie made it as if they sent him mad. They made him he needed to go get psychiatric help at a live-in facility. And then he came out and he went missing. Got out and no one knew where he was.
He snuck out.
Yeah.
And disappeared. Around the same time that a newspaper article said that a hiker had gone missing in the similar area.
Yes, that's right. And then, so the big twist is the head of the police force is a woman who actually was the kicker Finkel, who had a sex change.
Played by Sean Young, who you may remember from Blade Runner, the original one.
Yeah, right.
The robot.
I've never seen that movie, so I don't know why I said it like that.
Not
yeah,
really
right.
either. But I've seen the latest one.
Oh, right. Yes, because I was looking into her filmography. Sean Young, she wasn't in the film, but came back to coach the new actor.
Right, there you go. Yeah, so huge twist there.
Yeah, sorry, but Sean Young, so her character, she's
turned out to be Ray Finkel. Yes.
And she's had a sex change, did you say?
That's right. So Jim Carrey had kissed her, and then there was a big scene of him being disgusted because he'd kissed a man.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of chewing gum. He brushed his teeth with.
He was crying in the shower.
Yeah, he got naked. He set fire to his clothes.
Even though
his clothes.
Even
the
though
clothes
were different to the ones that he kissed.
Yeah, it was like a day later.
So it seemed like Jess and I were thinking this was all a bit of a weird homophobic throwback that maybe felt like a bit of a strange thing. Maybe it was just a different time back when that was funny to be grossed out by kissing a man. But Dave, you were saying that was all intentional.
Yeah, like sorry, I'm just trying to find one of the quotes about it was basically he was saying that he wanted it just to be so out there that it was obvious to people at home that his homophobic reaction was a joke.
Like it was a satirical kind of thing. But I want to know when that.
Oh, sorry, I found the quote.
But do you know when this interview was?
It's from the LA Times from 1994. So from the time.
Oh, okay, cool. Because if it was like very recently, I'd be like, "Ooh, a lot of backpedaling happening here."
Yeah, no.
No. It was on purpose.
So he said, "Quote: This is Jim Carrey
on purpose."
Very good. Quote Jim Carrey, I wanted to keep the action unreal and over the top. When it came time to my reaction to kissing a man, I wanted it to be the biggest, most obnoxious homophobic reaction ever recorded. It's so ridiculous, it can't be taken seriously, even though it guarantees that somebody's going to be offended.
Well, yeah, it does not age well.
Yeah, I mean, it is like a parody of The Crying Game, which had a similar subplot, but like even knowing that, it probably doesn't age super well.
Because I hadn't seen it at all, and I had no idea that. I was sitting there going, what is happening?
Yeah, it hasn't aged well, and I can't really imagine it being done now in a way that would be all that funny, even if it's being self-aware and it's homophobia. Does that make sense? Yeah, sometimes it can be a very clear, obvious, clever parody, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's pretty funny. This one I was like, oh, what the fuck?
I reckon I definitely didn't get the irony as a kid.
Yeah.
I would have just been a little homophobic idiot
like
going,
yeah, yuck.
That
is
yuck.
Man. Ew.
Like some moments that are so cringeworthy, like on The Office, Steve Carell's character Michael Scott says some incredibly offensive things, but it's still very, very funny because just the way you know that he's like a terrible character.
Yeah.
But with this, I just felt like it was not like that.
Good.
It didn't have the same tone or delivery of like when they do that on The Office, you know that the people making the show don't really have those feelings, and it is sort of sending up that kind of thing. But this was just a bit like, does Jim Carrey just think it's funny to freak out over kissing a man?
Yeah.
Does he think kissing a man is funny?
A bit yuck.
Would you believe this then? Jim Carrey wasn't the first choice for Ace Ventura.
He wrote it.
Well, I think maybe his writing credit may have come from improvs on set. I don't know that for sure, but...
Oh, I thought it was like a screenplay by him.
Oh.
Actually, I did end up reading that in one of these other things when I was looking into it, that him and one of the other writers would spend lots of time coming up with jokes for the film.
Right.
Right, okay, sorry. Yeah, so
He punched
So
it
I guess
up.
they came to him with a concept, and he punched it up and made it his own.
But
I
he
guess.
wasn't the first choice.
No, the first, apparently, according to this
Ben
Uproxx
Affleck.
article, very close.
Matt
Ethan
Damon.
Hawke.
No, and not Skeet Ulrich, who I know was going to be your next guest because you're a big Skeet fan.
Love Skeet.
And 1994 was peak Skeet.
Was Dave right? Is it Matt Damon?
No, it wasn't Matt Damon.
Was it Greg Kinnear?
It was.
Can I keep guessing?
Yeah.
Can you give me a hint?
River Phoenix.
All right, I can tell you that he,
Jerry Seinfeld.
the first choice,
Keanu.
did not choose this role. He chose instead to be in the live-action version of the Flintstones.
John
Oh.
Goodman.
No, Barney, who played Barney Rubble.
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, shit.
Rick Moranis.
Okay, well, we could have got there.
Well, I reckon I gave you 20 odd.
All right,
guesses.
well, I had some good fun. Rick Moranis is... No, he'd be no good at this.
It would have been a very
actually,
different movie.
Very different, yeah. I'm thinking he wouldn't have been so good at all the physical and the over-the-top facial expressions and being gross.
But that was the bit that we all disliked.
Exactly, and that's the Jim Carrey bit. I think Rick Moranis would do a very different bit.
Dave, I think you're being very harsh on Jim.
He's fine.
What about it? I do really like Jim Carrey a lot.
Yes, but we did all find him to be quite annoying.
He was
Yeah,
cute.
this was a bit tough.
a little too much.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yes, I think that maybe as he went along, he did find a better level of being Jim and being funny.
yeah. I think this movie was definitely made for kids. Even though, well, I thought that, but then there is some weird sort of.
There's lots of sex stuff. Like
Within the first 10 minutes, there's
He's getting a
an
head
implied
job,
he's
right?
getting
blowjob.
Yeah,
and he's like all over the place from a lady whose breasts are all over the place.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is appropriate because we are in the middle now of Blowvember. So every movie this month we talk about is going to have a blowjob scene.
So you have to find a primate and a blowjob scene. How many other?
Well, we're just going to have
Yeah,
to watch
good.
this. Have to watch this for the next 4 weeks, I'm
I
afraid.
enjoy that. And there's also, can I just say, another sex scene between Jim Carrey and Courtney Cox.
I was out of the room during that.
Oh, you
Yeah.
went to the bathroom at the
Poor
worst
timing
time.
to pee, yeah.
Oh, I imagine you went to the bathroom to have a wank because you were so turned on.
Yeah, the sexual tension between them. So firstly, he calls her...
You're ugly.
Says she's ugly.
Then she's
says
fat.
Fat. He keeps making all these fat jokes.
It was real weird.
And then she goes inside and he's like, yeah, she's all right. And then,
And then basically
He said that to the dog.
He
Yeah.
solves a crime. One of her co-workers at the NFL club at the Dolphins has apparently committed suicide by jumping to his death from a high balcony. Yeah. Jim Carrey or Ace Ventura shows up to the crime scene, shows up to the cops and proves why it's actually a murder. And she's so impressed by that she pretty much instantly has sex with him. They go back to his place where all his animals are. They are banging. The bed is smashing into the wall. They're going that hard.
So is the monkey there?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
capuchin
Great.
is loving it.
Capuch.
they should have had a scene with the capuchin where it covers its eyes. That'd
Yes.
be cute.
That's fun.
But I wanted to talk about these animals because, according to Mental Floss, shooting the sex scene at Ace's apartment was not easy. Courtney Cox later remembered all the animals had to be chained to their positions.
Oh my god.
I know, but the squirrel would get loose and jump on the penguin. The penguin would then bite the cockatoo, and soon all hell would break loose, and I'd find myself under the blanket with a macaw.
Is
This-
that what they're calling it these days? My day, we call it a stiffy.
When was your day?
Oh, mate, you also
Oh,
missed
1994.
a great line. So they've done this hardcore banging. The bed
Hardcore banging.
bed is smashing into the wall. They're pounding. They're going so crazy.
Wait, hang on.
This coming
Have
out,
they
Dave.
gone to Pound Town?
They've gone to Pound Town.
They're smashing.
They taken the
they're
Tickets to Pound Town. Thank you.
express stopping on stations to Pound Town.
They're
please.
ramming. They're colliding. They're absolutely deriding. So it's on for young and old, but mostly young.
But age appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just
They're-
young.
it's on for legally of age.
Yeah, but young in comparison to Jim Carrey now. So they're
Sure,
Was
but
Jim
I mean,
Carrey-
I'm older than I was 5 seconds ago too.
Wait, are you telling me that Jim Carrey today in 2018 is older than he was in 1994.
I feel like I've aged since you started this fucking story.
All right, let me just recap. They're banging. They're
What
rocking.
are they doing, so?
Yeah.
Don't come a
Pounding.
knocking because that bed is bloody rocking.
Okay.
Anyway, they get to the end of the sex scene.
And the pets are chained down.
Yeah. Courtney Cox rolls over and goes, "Oh my God," like it was the most amazing sex ever. And she goes, 3 times. And he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This never happens. I must be tired." And then he goes, "Let's go for 4." And
Yeah,
just
I'm
jumps
ready
straight
again.
back on.
But also, the animals are all kind of sitting in a very orderly fashion, which implies that they got home and even in the heat of passion, he was like, "Hang on a sec, let me just assemble my animals.
Let me just
And
chain
he
my
like-
animals.
Because, I mean, he's got it's a 1-bedroom apartment, but they could be in the living room. They could be spread out. He's got them all in one place, just on one side of the bed.
Because he showed earlier how much under his command they are.
Yeah.
When he first introduced them, he called them out. They all hid when the landlord was having a
Yeah.
look around, a.k.a. the devil.
yeah, similar.
When they were having a look at, he came and have a look to prove there was no pets, and then he goes, "You can come out now." Like, they were very well trained.
Yeah,
So,
so-
if they're looking, it's because he wants them to be.
Exactly. And imagine if
Jess,
you
can I ask you something quickly though? Are you kink shaming Jim?
I'm not kink shaming. What I'm hoping is that he, first of all, checked that with the lady friend he'd just brought home for the first
Sure,
time,
yes, thank you.
that she was okay with the animals also watching, rather than feeling that, because performance anxiety is a real thing. And I don't like animals or people watching me, or ghosts.
Yeah, and they also are often chained.
Yeah.
You know those ghosts with them rattly chains when
Yeah.
you're just trying to go to Pound Town.
All right, ghost of Christmas past, I'm
I'm
trying
on
to
the-
get my rocks off.
I'm on the train. Toot toot. Well, you know, we're going express.
Well,
But not
it's al-
express.
Not
like,
It's always
Express.
express with you, though, isn't it, mate?
Oh, yeah. I got two gears. Stop and go.
My two gears are pound and town.
Yeah. All aboard.
Oh, we're in town mode.
Down mode. Oh, look, a lovely shop.
A cafe or bar.
Ooh, it's a double.
Oh, what does pound sound like?
Toot. Yeah, I like yours better. Yeah.
Oh, what's that noise? I don't want to know. Please don't answer that question.
I
Don't
think that's
answer what I said.
dolphin related.
Clip clopping horse.
Oh, okay, that's right
okay,
then.
yeah,
That's
clip
quite
clopping.
nice. Love horses.
On a wet day. Sound a bit slodgy.
Oh, it's always a wet day, mate.
You did that. You said the W word.
Oh. What was that?
Whistle.
Whistle. Wet your whistle.
We're so tired.
Yeah.
We're just whistling to microphones.
When Ace did solve that it wasn't a suicide, it was a murder. That was one of the bits that was pretty funny.
Where he's screaming and opening and closing the door.
to prove that you couldn't possibly hear it out there. He was doing an opera.
That was
Yeah, but he's
funny.
got a sliding door that's got double pane glass, and he's going, oh, and then sliding. When the door closes, you can't
I
hear him
think
anymore.
he just put I would have loved him to have pushed it for another 2 or 3 minutes. Just
Yeah,
him
just keep
open and
going.
close.
and it appears like it's one breath.
Yeah.
That
Oh!
was very funny.
That's good. A good fun time. My other favourite scene was when he rocked up to a Cannibal Corpse gig, and he sort of shimmied in like he was doing a salsa or
It's
something.
like a heavy metal, everyone's head banging, and he sambas in. Good fun.
And can I bring you back to this Mental Floss article? Apparently, Jim Carrey specifically wanted the band Cannibal Corpse in the movie.
Awesome.
He was a fan. They wanted them to make a cameo. Cannibal Corpse turned them down at first because they were on a European tour. The band
Like
got
we
another
are.
call a few days later to say that they had rearranged the shooting schedule so they could be there with no conflict. Once they got to
no
Florida...
pressure. We've politely said no. We've come up with a fake excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon if someone says some sort of scheduling thing,
Yeah.
I reckon just take that as,
Yeah.
take the hint there. It's like when you back someone into a corner.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't come around for dinner? That's okay. What are you doing any other night?
Yeah.
I'll work around you.
Give me a date.
Oh.
Give me a date.
I'll okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Great.
Well, the song they are playing in that scene is called Hammer Smashed Face.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a ballad. It's a love song.
The ballad of Hammer Smashed Face.
As he's walking in, they say, I wish I could remember the singer's name, but he goes, I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. So grab your partner real close and do-si-do. Here's a little ditty called Hammer Smashed Face.
There are a lot of lighters in the air for that one.
Be-do, be-do. It's a real beautiful moment.
Yeah, it is nice. That was my favourite scene.
So that's interesting that Jim Carrey's a Cannibal Corpse fan.
Yeah, I would have picked him to like banjo.
I was thinking he'd be like a ska guy.
Doobity-bop-bop-bop-bop-bop.
Not a scat man.
Oh, fuck.
You can never remember the difference.
I don't know what music is.
Oh, it's hard.
There's
to describe.
you can look it up on YouTube. I'll show you later. And for listeners at home, there's a look up a guy who doesn't know what music is. It's a series of vines. It's very funny.
Well, that is a hot
He
tip.
doesn't know what music is. It's great.
How do you not know in today's age?
It's so funny.
Was this set in the 90s?
Yeah, it's set in the 90s.
Now
Before
I get
music
it.
existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-music. Ugh, what a time.
Yeah.
Pre 9/11, pre-music.
We all remember when music began, and that was with Britney Spears' hit song "Toxic."
Wow, wow.
Baby, can't you see I'm falling? Yeah.
And people were like, everyone was cupping their ears,
Like,
going,
what is that?
What is this? No, it's like a noise, only it's intoxicating.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to put toxic in there. I really
You
didn't.
did.
I
You
really didn't.
fucking
I swear to
did.
God, I didn't. I
You
swear. I
sneaky
swear
little
to God.
shit. You
I swear to
sneaky
God.
little bitch.
Oh, you put
You
your
did.
finger
You
down.
did, you
dog.
sneaky bitch.
No, you
You're such a
stop
sneaky
it.
bitch.
No.
How about yes?
Oh, yeah.
Dave?
Oozer.
Dave, who's a sneaky bitch?
This guy. I'm pointing at that prick.
All righty then.
I did read somewhere else that they were pretty keen on creating like catchphrases that they hoped would take off in pop culture.
Oh, that's never good.
Yeah.
Don't give yourself a catchphrase or a nickname. That's
What was
my
the
rule.
catchphrase?
Like stuff like alrighty then, and like just like funny like little lines that they hoped that people would quote. And
Well, in the Uprocks listicle I was quoting from before, it mentions the alrighty then phrase. Apparently that came from his stand-up act. Ventura's cadence and trademark phrase didn't fully develop until after Carrey did several read-throughs of the script, frustrated with trying to find the right tone for his character's lines.
so it just said alrighty then over and over again.
So, hang on. He worked through that many times, and that's what he settled on.
I guess I'm guessing he's just like turning it up and turning it up.
Yeah. He doesn't ever jump like sideways and try something different. He'll just try something more.
More. Could you give me a little bit more? That's his director. What was the director's name?
PJ Hogan.
PJ Hogan.
No, I made that up.
Give me a little bit more.
More.
Jim, and he'll say, "Who's Jim? Jim's not here." I say, "Oh, sorry, Ace." Ace.
Can we talk about how probably the coolest thing about the film is the name Ace Ventura?
That's a great
Yeah,
name.
it's a
Ace
good name.
Ventura.
I rip. You think of that's the kind of thing you think of the character name, and then you think of a movie.
Do you think it would be, yeah, because Pet Detective follows that so naturally. Do you think that would be a good band name? Ace Ventura?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Sounds like
you.
a ska band. I think it's just that he looks like a guy.
What about Ace and the Venturas?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like we love an anther.
Yeah, I do love an anther.
Dave's reassembling pillows
do
on
love an
the cushion
anther.
so that he's basically lying
What
down
did you
now.
call this couch before you said it was some fancy thing?
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield.
God.
Chesterfield. And Chesterfield just means lots of buttons?
Yeah, it's just the style of a leather couch.
We're sitting on a bloody big couch.
Yeah.
More like it, am I right?
You are right.
I'm only just getting my head around the fact that leather is skin.
Oh,
Isn't it weird? Anyway,
no.
I mean, that's just...
I know you're right, but I'm.
Am I right or am I right?
My other alternative right now is standing up, which is not an option because I'm very tired.
Nor is it for the cow who...
That thing's been standing up for 15 years since it turned into a couch. Has anyone ever thought about putting this couch on a couch? Giving it a little break.
Oh, yeah. Couches aren't sitting down.
They're standing.
They're ready
this
to
thing's
be sat
standing.
on. They are, in a way, slaves.
Anyway, I didn't even finish this sentence. Frustrated with trying to find the right tone for his character's lines, Carey used a voice from one of the characters in his stand-up act and applied it to his Ace Ventura table read. You might also notice Ventura's similar manner of speaking to Carey's the In Living Colour sketch, Overly Confident Gay Man, which sounds like a fun sketch.
Yeah, it sounds like that would have been funny at the time and now.
Yeah, I reckon that would hold up.
I like when people name sketches.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
Monty
here's one.
Python, dude.
Here's one. A little ditty we like to call Overly Confident Gay Man. Alrighty then. Did you know this? His movements and everything, he based them all off and after studying the movement of birds. You know, he walks funny and stuff. Apparently that's...
Do you remember when he went into the bathroom and he locked the door and he walks really straight and you just said, you're like, there's no one around, why is he walking like that? So we just thought that when he's by himself, he's just acting like a total weirdo.
It was the funniest. The funniest moment of the film was your observation of that.
It's like, who are you walking like that
who are you
for?
doing this for?
'Cause
Like-
he was sneaking, but it's like you're in a room alone. You don't
Like
need
when
to sneak.
He gets up in the morning to go to the bathroom. He gets out of bed, and that's how he walks to the
knees
toilet.
up to his chin. This weird exaggerated creep walk.
It's like, there's got to be a moment when that guy cries himself to sleep. Surely,
So who am I doing this for?
I'm so alone.
What have I become?
There's got to be a moment when that guy cries himself to sleep. Yeah, Ace Ventura is very sad.
I'm just so zany all the time.
But I also like that they kind of, because, you know, within the first 10 minutes, he's hooking up with this hot babe. And then he also hooks up with Courtney Cox. It's kind of, are they trying to get it that he does well with the ladies?
I love that.
Yeah.
That sounded like a put down. He hooks up with this hot babe, then he hooks up with Courtney Cox.
That's not how I meant it, but I just mean like he gets women, and it's like, nah, it's not gonna happen.
I mean, the film did start, and one of you remarked, "Oh, there's a hot guy." Like Jim Carrey was hot back
That was
then.
Matt.
Yeah, that was definitely me.
And so
Jeez, he was looking hot early before he started talking and moving.
Yeah.
In the opening scene when he's because he's driving and he does not doing any of the weird movement. You're
Right.
like, oh yeah.
He had young, fresh face, bright eyes.
He's always been a stud though, like in a goofy Hulk man style.
Yeah, maybe.
That's why. I mean, that's how you become a big movie star.
I
I guess
reckon
you got to
he'd
be at
be
least
in-
a bit hot.
He'd be a nightmare, though, I reckon.
Oh well,
It seems like he'd be a lot of work.
Would you sanction his buffoonery?
I will not.
No.
I couldn't either.
Famously, that's what. Who was
Jack
that?
Nicholson, wasn't it?
No, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
It's
Was he-
very similar in my head.
Playing Two-Face opposite Jim Carrey's The Riddler.
And they
Batman film.
bumped into each other at a restaurant during the taping, and Jim Carrey thought they were friends, but Tommy Lee Jones.
Invited him over for lunch and apparently said, I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
Yeah, but then Tommy Lee Jones was in Men in Black, so, I mean, what, you know?
Yeah, I'm just guessing Will Smith wasn't probably was
Yeah.
way cool. Like, what are you saying? Jim Carrey and Will Smith sort of are similarly
I'm just saying,
goofy.
no, I'm saying Tommy Lee Jones sounds snobbish in that story, and then he's like, I'm a real actor.
Oh, right.
And then it's like, you did Men in Black.
Oh, but
like
if
four of
you
them.
saw the movie that they were filming at the time, that is even
Oh, yeah, true. That's a bit bad.
and his character in it is like kind of Jim Carrey-ish the way he plays Two-Face as well. He does a lot of that weird. I reckon he studied some birds
Yeah.
before he.
What kind of bird would you imitate?
Oh, me. Oh, some sort of beautiful swan. Bit of grace.
Only a beautiful one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Matt?
My favourite bird probably would be the penguin.
I was going to say penguin.
Yeah.
Because when they're little, they're so fluffy.
Don't know which
and they kind of
penguin-
waddle and it's just cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
Emperor penguin.
Emperor? Yeah.
Is hilarious when they waddle like 1,000 kilometres over the ice.
I like it
Fairy
when
penguins are great too.
I like it when penguins fall over. And they don't hurt themselves, but they slip on the ice. Oh, shit, that's cute.
Because, they're just like a way cooler version of a guy walking down the street, tripping and turning it into a jog.
Yes.
They trip and they turn it into a, like, sliding down the ice and, like, jumping into the water.
So
on their
cool.
back, like, flipping and then putting their flippers behind their head, like,
I meant that.
ain't no big thing.
Yeah, I
read
love
the fact
that.
that penguins, like emperor penguins, are known to push one of the other penguins into the water to see if there's any predators down there. So they're standing on like an ice cliff, ready to jump in. Oh, I wonder if there's any seals or anything down there. Push one. Oh, Greg's all right. They all dive in.
I love that.
So they sacrifice one of them.
They put their little canary down the mine as their mate, probably their brother.
I
There you
love
go,
that.
Greg.
Poor old Greg's always
Do they
great.
mate for life?
Yeah, I think they do those ones.
That's cute.
And then if the partner disappears, I think they're a bit lonely, it's a bit sad.
Oh. See,
Hey,
that's...
why'd you bring that up?
I think it's
We're all
nice.
having a good time.
Yeah,
Hey,
but...
it's funny when we're pushing Greg down into the seals.
There's a
now.
lesson in that too, though, isn't there? In that it's all well and good to have a partner, but you can't be one of those friends who gets a new girlfriend or a new boyfriend and then just forgets about your friends, because your friends will always be there for you. Right, guys?
Whereas a penguin might not.
Nah, they're flaky as shit.
Maybe they go off for a hunting season and they, get eaten by a seal because they're selfish.
And don't the daddy penguins sit on their eggs?
If Happy Feet taught me anything, yes.
See, that's great. Modern parenting.
Yeah.
There's two parents,
Yeah,
at least.
These days, dads sit on eggs all the time.
Yeah. It's a good...
Yeah.
It's like the latest ice bucket challenge, isn't it? Just putting eggs under your dad's seat.
I think, though, in that case, it is just... Isn't that just meaning that the male penguin is doing all the work?
Nah.
So, no, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I meant to say was it's so cute to see the dad penguins babysitting.
It's a little patronising of the dad penguins, Jess. They're sitting on eggs.
They're sitting on eggs.
And that ain't easy.
They're doing all the work, are they?
Well, the mama penguins are going out getting all
Get
the
their
food.
nails done, are they?
No, I think they're out getting the food. Are
Because they're a
they?
team.
I'm
flip-flopping on you here.
You're walking stranger than a penguin over there.
Thank...
You've been studying the walk of a penguin.
Of course.
Did you know that Ace Ventura's Talking Ass that you're such a fan of came from In Living Colour?
I'm just a fan of Jim Carrey's ass.
Yeah.
I'd like to be put on the record saying that.
Yep, that is now on the record.
Thank you.
So according to the director, I can't remember what we called him, but apparently his other name is Tom Shadyac.
Yep.
He said he saw Carey goofing around with his talking ass gag on the set of In Living Colour and mentioned to him that he thought it would play well in the movie. Apparently, the scene resulted in several people walking out during the film's test screening.
Oh, people just bail.
Walking out.
That's relatively early in the film too. So
Like-
they're
it's like,
walking out.
okay,
Yeah, I've seen enough.
I've sanctioned enough buffoonery for one day.
And they kept it in.
Yeah.
That was a bold call. And here I am, 14 years later, grateful for that decision.
Yeah, they did it.
That is comedy. It's my butt talking to you. That's hilarious.
Talking butt, that's funny stuff. I think that might even be... Is that rule number 1 in comedy? I forget the top 10 rules, but that's...
Well, that's why you're no good at comedy.
Yeah, that's right, because I can't remember the rules.
Yeah, but
And
yeah.
I don't talk out my ass enough. Not literally.
It's number
He
one.
took talking out your ass to a real literal
Literally,
place,
yeah.
didn't he?
And that's bold and admirable.
Did you know that horrible reviews... This is again from Uproxx. Horrible reviews didn't stop it from becoming a cash cow.
Oh,
It was reviewed pretty poorly.
hugely shocking.
Got a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was called A Long Unfunny Slog Through an Impenetrable Plot
Oh my
by
God.
Roger Ebert.
They thought Roger thought that was long.
Yeah, well, yeah, it felt pretty brief to me, but the plot was a bit. I mean, it was a series of sketches, kind of loosely tied together. But yeah, obviously, it still made a whole lot of cash. I've got a few bits and pieces of reviews here if you want to hear some. Unlike famous bumbling sleuths such as Inspector Clouseau, there's no consistency to the Ace character, and the whole movie shifts in tone from social satire to sophomoric pranks and traditional cop show plotting.
Do you think, they kind of make Ace good at his job in a way? Like he's a
really good detective, right? That's pretty clear.
But they never push it far enough that you're actually on his side. I don't think you're on his side.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I still disliked him all the way through.
He did, because he was clearly a very good detective.
Yeah.
Is he though? Because at the start he's looking for that very rare white pigeon for $25,000 reward. And then he goes to get it and he ends up falling in a dumpster. The pigeon falls.
Yeah, because he sneaks up on a bird and then tries to jump at it.
I think as a detective, he found the bird.
Okay, so
he's just not a very good catcher of birds.
that's true.
Which is two very different skill sets.
He also, and that's why he got in a brawl at the end of the film when the eagle Mascot accidentally shoos away this rare bird. And Ace goes to the Mascot, "You just cost me $25,000, idiot," or something like that, and then they punch on.
I mean, they don't really punch on. He just assaults the bird.
Yeah, and then it just cuts to every other character seeing him do that and laughing,
being like, "Yeah,
like,
good stuff."
Oh, classic Ace. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you
he's
people?
He's always bashing teenagers dressing up as mascots at the game.
He stops kissing Courtney Cox to go and assault. No, he goes to catch the bird and then assault someone, and she's still just smitten with him. And it's like, what? What is wrong with you?
That's how Jim Carrey wrote it. He said, "She stays smitten with me."
At no point does she reconsider.
This is a positive review from TV Guide. Ace is not the typical movie goofball, smart aleck, or idiot savant. He's a genuine weirdo who happens to be stunningly competent at his job. The same can be said for the film's justly popular leading man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably... Because he is weird. He's really weird. He's like next level weird.
You think so?
I reckon.
What about this one? This is from the New York Times, and it is not positive. Only a child could love Mr. Carey's character, but that may be the point. The movie has the metabolism, logic, and attention span of a peevish 6-year-old. 2 out of 5.
Do we know what it was rated?
Well, it had to be rated. Well, it had to be rated M, right?
Surely, with those.
With the.
Was there swearing in it too? A bit of swearing.
I don't recall.
No F-bombs, but I think some S-bombs.
S-bombs?
I think so.
Like, suck it.
Matt.
Sorry, I'll bleep that.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to be M, surely.
I think so. Well, mainly, the sex stuff, right?
Because I thought it was aimed at kids, but then rewatching it, I was like, this can't be for children.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all implied. There was nothing graphic.
I think we were just kids.
Maybe it was probably PG. That's what I'm thinking.
Dave, thoughts?
Yeah, I reckon that PG. That's why they pushed the sex scenes, like the blowjob stuff. You never really saw anything. The lady just disappeared, and then he...
Well, where would you think she'd gone?
Well, I guess that's as a kid, I would have had no idea.
Yeah, like as a kid. So you never actually see anything. And in the bed, the covers are fully on. You just see the smashing of the bed frame into the wall.
Yeah.
And when he's attacked by a shark, he doesn't break his skin. The shark's teeth are sharp enough to cut through his pants, but not his skin.
It.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It's got to be...
So I guess, they were just holding back on all that stuff for that reason, which makes sense because I imagine it probably would have struggled if it was an adult-only audience, probably. But so you didn't love it, Jess. What would you give it out of like, say if a full bunch of bananas was 6 bananas?
Sure.
How many bananas would you give?
3.
3 bananas. Half a bunch. And where would they be on the ripeness scale? Green or...
They'd be... It'd be like the last day to eat them before you've probably got to freeze them and use them for banana bread.
Okay, great. Banana bread, that's what your go-to would be? if you're using an overripened banana.
What other options do you have?
Well, you can make that sort of banana ice cream stuff.
Nah.
Great. That was the main reason I wanted you to
banana,
come and talk
but not
here today.
banana flavored things.
Right.
Flavored things.
I love banana and banana flavored things. I'm a bit of a kook.
You're such a kook.
Yeah.
That's where we differ, you and I.
Yep. I'm a kook, and you're a straight edge, straight lace.
That's me. Dave, out of 6 bananas.
Or 2 bananas.
2 bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't have any of the nostalgia that I guess some people watching this did because I hadn't seen it before.
I think
And-
that plays a huge part in watching these kind of movies. For sure.
And I would say that they were very, very green bananas. And I like them ripe.
Yeah.
So, come on, guys.
That's a pretty damning banana report.
Because have we talked about the end at all?
Oh,
The
no.
big...
No, you want to talk us through the ending?
Well, it's just the bit that, looking back now, is, dated the worst.
Yeah.
Is at the end when our NFL fan that's behind everything, the one that couldn't kick the field goal. What was that guy's name again?
Finkel.
Finkel, who has transitioned into a woman and joined the police force and is now a high-ranking police officer.
Yeah, assuming a short period of time.
Yeah, we think it would all happen in 2 years. Join the police
No, I'm
force.
pretty sure they said she disappeared. He had broken out 8 years ago.
Oh, 8 years. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't 2 years.
Still, that's still a fast
Oh, for
ascent
sure.
to the running a whole police department.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think they were probably worried too much about.
No, probably not. Timeline.
No, but basically the end of the film is like, a bit of a climax when Ace Ventura is he tracks Lois down and she's kidnapped the NFL player and the dolphin, and then her colleagues show up to arrest whoever's behind it, and she says, "This guy did it. Ace Ventura is the one you want." And then the way he defends himself and says, "No, Lois, your boss, isn't actually Lois. She's Finkel." And the way he proves that is, first of all, he tries to grab her hair off. She couldn't possibly have long hair now.
Yeah.
Like that logic.
And then that doesn't come off. And then he says, well, how about these breasts or something like that? And then opens her top up. And then she's in a bra.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
With boobs.
Those are real boobs. Okay.
Yeah.
But he said any doctor could put them in a couple of days.
Yeah, that's right. In a weekend. And then he strips off her skirt, leaving her standing there in her underwear, admittedly. But there's no room for any male genitals and what he expected to find. And they're all like, oh, well, clearly she is just Lois. And then
She's just standing there stunned.
Yeah.
I guess as you would be if you've been stripped in front
Yeah,
of
it's
all
pretty-
your workmates.
No, honestly, I would have tried to cover up my body at some point.
Oh, yeah, no, that's probably true.
yeah, but
She's
if I imagine you could be in shock because it's pretty upsetting what he's done. And then the big reveal that she does in fact have male genitalia still, because there's a reverse shot and you can see like what I imagine is balls and stuff.
And stuff.
In the reverse of her pants. And then it's like, ha, I've got you. You were a man. And it's all a bit like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was watching that going, what is happening?
Yeah, and then everyone there starts spitting out, implying
Oh, that's
that
right. All the police officers start spinning.
So weird.
big finish.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, if that's not upsetting enough, then he does. He grievously assaults that mascot for no real reason.
Yeah, just to add
And then it
to
sort of
it.
zooms in on him, and there's a freeze frame, and that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
There were some of the criticisms of the movie was that it was a bit mean-spirited. But, it's funny because it's so goofy. It's all so silly, but yeah, it is all a bit, somehow.
He's not a nice character. Like, he's mean.
Yeah, it's weird because he seems like I remembered it so differently.
Does he have a friend? Can you think of a character he's friends
He's
with?
friends with the animals. That's why
He
they're
even-
chained up in his living room.
He even yells at one of the dogs and says, I don't have any food for you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a bit weird.
So,
Like it's
no, I
your
don't-
fault.
I don't even think animals are his friends. He's literally not nice to a single person. Not the detective he wants help from, not the lady he somehow bangs. Sorry, takes to Pound Town. No one. He's not friendly or kind or nice to anyone.
Yeah,
He's a grade A dick.
Yeah, he really is. He is quite, if, like the cop would be closest thing to his friend, Tone Loc.
And he even helps him.
Yeah.
Why would you help him? He's a piece of shit.
He's very patient, Tone Loc.
Very
Yeah.
patient. I guess he's just had a funky cold Medina.
Yeah, taking the edge off.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. And normally how we finish off talking about the film, it would be with the monkey, or in this case a monkey, but the primate on screen. How much of yourself do you see in that monkey? Because we found on the first episode with Andy Matthews, he told me that 98% of the chimpanzee's DNA is shared with humans. So how much of yourself, as a percentage, from 1 to 100, do you see in the on-screen monkey?
I often watch my housemate have sex.
Yep.
So quite a lot of myself in that monkey. Very relatable.
Are you chained up normally?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out I live alone. So...
Your housemate is you.
Oh, wow.
There's
like a
mirrors
fight-
all over my room.
Some sort of a Fight Club scenario there.
Yeah.
You're punching yourself in the face.
Yeah.
Is that what that movie's about? Who knows, right?
Is that what you're
I mean,
into?
a lot of it's left up in the air. Don't you think?
But Dave, how much of yourself do you see in that monkey? How relatable?
Well, with that, I can only assume that capuchin, who was enslaved by Jim Carrey, also dislikes him, much like I do. So I see about a 99% match between
I don't
myself
know, bloody
and
hell.
that capuchin.
Also a real good mover, much like you, Dave Warneke.
Oh, live to move.
Live
And
to move,
shake.
move to live.
Sadly, I'm chained down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say I love the capuchin monkeys. That's a real bummer to hear that the animals were all chained down like that. That's just, I mean, it obviously a scene like that where they've got such a range of animals in one room. It feels like it's not ideal, but
I imagine it would
Yeah.
have been a filming nightmare, but yeah.
So don't put it in. But also there's a lot of bummers in this film. Especially the talking bummer.
what is that?
The talking bum. I was just being silly.
So what? So we didn't actually ask how many bananas you gave it, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember loving it as a kid. I probably would have said at some point in my life that it was my favorite movie. I reckon.
Wow.
I reckon. I used to love Jim Carrey. That era of Jim Carrey where he was exploding. I still really like him. I just find when he was in that early, huge cartoon character era, I find that a bit hard to take now.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel any nostalgia for it because of that. But yeah, probably 1 or 2.
Okay, I don't want to have
bananas.
the highest rating. I'm putting mine down to 2.
All right, 2. So the 3 of us together give it 1 bunch of bananas.
Yeah.
And I'd say,
Out of a possible 3.
just because, I'd say I'd equate his overacting to overripen as well. So with Jess, I reckon they're ready to go in the freezer. And I reckon, I really love the capuchin monkeys. I'd say, like Dave, I'd find, I don't think I could live with him, but being chained down, let's say 63%.
Okay.
Now, that brings us up to everyone's favourite segment of the show, the Primate Sporting Mascot segment.
Yes.
Time. And this film was the most sporting mascot heavy film we've looked at.
Yeah. It was
So
the
far.
central plot.
Yeah, that's right. Snowflake.
Snowflake. Stupid name.
And then it finished in the big
TD.
finale with the Eagles mascot wrestle. But I had an email from Dylan Graves. He emailed at dogoonpod@gmail.com. And he said, I wanted to send you a couple of potential mascots for your end of show
Do you go on pod or do you have a Primates one?
Oh, bloody hell. Primates pod. I forgot what podcast we're on. I'm very tired.
It's quite confusing because you're used to us.
Primates pod.
Yeah.
Because Jess handles the Do Go On pod. I can see why you were pretty quick to correct that.
I'm not handling any more emails.
Anyway, Dylan has suggested the Zooperstars, and I have not been able to figure out what this is, but he said they're not strictly a team, but they are animal versions of some of the world's greatest sporting legends. And he said there's a couple of them are primates, including Bobby Orangutan, which is a play on Bobby Orr, a hockey legend,
Okay.
and Monkey Mantle, a play on Mickey Mantle,
Mickey Mantle.
from the New York Yankees. And I've looked up their the website, and it is a wild time.
Okay.
They've got other other characters, and I think you can pay for them to come. It's just like men in suit kind of mascots, and they come to your parties or whatever and entertain you.
Everyone's like, "Oh wow, Monkey Mantle's here."
Yeah, it's so weird.
How did your parents get Monkey Mantle to appear at your 5th birthday?
But you could also get Barack Obama.
Oh, I like that.
That's good work.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
good
on board
pun
with
work.
that.
You've got. I'm trying to think of any that I understand. Dennis Frogman, Dennis Rodman. Who else we got here? Elephant Presley.
Oh,
Imagine-
ooh.
I mean, there's not even the same syllables.
Yeah.
LeBronco James.
Oh, that's fun.
Shaquille O'Seal.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Nailed it.
that's a good
Whale
stuff.
Gretzky here. All right. Anyway, there's a whole. Wait, hang on. I just saw one that has really grabbed my attention. Tiger Woodschuck. He's already got Tiger in his name.
For fuck's sake.
Tiger Woodschuck.
That is funny.
That's good fun.
What about a Crane Warn?
That's great. And I reckon there'd be a lot of, in the American marketplace, I reckon there'd be a lot of...
How did you get Crane Warn to appear at your 6th birthday party?
Australian bowling record holder.
Sorry guys, there's a pun on Shane Warne.
So Bobby Orangutan, they've got a little bio for him. It says, meet the monkey who makes King Kong look like a ding dong. Orangutans aren't monkeys, first off. In the first sentence, they've already stuffed that up. It's Bobby Orangutan, the Boston hockey hero. This rompin' rump shaker can really shake his humongous moneymaker. His funny fur will give you the gorilla giggles. He's not a gorilla. Curious George ain't got nothing on this big, bad, bouncing, banana-eating baboon. Not a baboon.
Whoa.
But anyway... It's all fun, but they
fucked
it's
it.
a little bit of offensive in there.
Yeah.
And then Monkey Mantle, if you want it, I'll give it to you. Here it is. Everybody hold your bananas.
All right. What's the next step?
It's Monkey Mantle, the former New York great himself. This Hall of Fame ape loves to shake his derriere. Even though he's an old-timer, this monkey still has some moves. Like a fine wine, Monkey Mantle only gets better with age. He's the premier primate performer at his position. It's only one error there, calling him an ape.
But it all sucks, though.
Yeah, I don't... what is this business? I think I can't tell you for sure, but I either love it or I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure which side of the fence I'm on.
I absolutely love it.
I
Yeah.
love that I'm aware of it now.
Yeah, I think I do love it too.
6 bananas for me.
Thanks so much, Dylan Graves. That is a great suggestion.
If you can make any niche business like that work, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Zooperstars.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
good
They're
stuff.
from-
That is someone's dream and they've made it happen. I hope that they are successful.
So it's okay. So what kind of party are you calling up Superstars and saying, I want Olama...
Awake, obviously.
Wait, Obama Olama? No, what was
It's
it?
what she would have wanted.
Barack Obama.
Barack Olama. Thank you. Barack Olama.
Oh, what about Olama bin Lama?
Yeah, that's what I was confusing myself in not a good way. Yeah, so you're into that, Dave. I love that about you guys. You get on board.
Always.
I'm so happy for them.
I'm so happy for those
I'm going to cry.
boys and girls. Now it's time for Serkis Watch. Serkis Watch, for you guys, if you don't know, it's the segment where we talk about Andy Serkis, the patron saint of this podcast.
Now this I cannot sanction.
He's the man who played two of the greatest apes on screen, King Kong and Caesar from the rebooted Planet of the Apes.
What about, was he Gollum as well?
There's also Gollum, another great primate. Schmeagol. I don't know. I don't know if he played Schmeagol. Okay. How did that all work? I don't understand it.
Yeah, no, he did both.
I just know he loves to wear balls all over his body.
He's a ball boy.
He's a ball boy. This email is from Tate Evans. He had a little... Because I've asked if you've got any connection to Andy Serkis, if you've seen him, you know him, or you know someone who's seen him, please message him. I love all your stories and get us just a little bit closer to meeting the great man one day, have him on the show. This email from Tate says, "Hi Matt, I live in Vancouver, Canada, where a lot of Hollywood movies shoot B-roll and stuff like that because it's near a forest. This story comes from a friend of mine who works as a stunt actor and was on set a couple of times for the second Planet of the Apes movie. They were filming stuff in one of the closed set forest locations and they had just taken a break for lunch. As he was walking across services, he passed by Andy Serkis and congratulated him on doing a good job." See, what I mean, me to Tate to his friend to Andy Serkis. What's that? Three Kevin Bacons to success, or whatever that game is. Serkis thanked him and asked if he was heading to get food. My friend said he was and asked if Mr. Serkis would like to join him. Even though the star actors get their own special food area, Serkis agreed to join him and they chatted for a bit about his other acting roles while eating, and then they gave the 15-minute call for getting back on set, and Andy Serkis said bye to my friend and he remembered his name even though it was just a quick chat over lunch. It may not be the wackiest story, but it does show just how good of a bloke Andy Serkis really is.
That's nice.
Thanks so much for that, Tate.
That's lovely.
It's
what
a beautiful story.
What a lovely bedtime story.
A beautiful bedtime story as we are all slumping down into, what did you call this couch? A Chatterley.
Chesterfield.
I can't keep my eyes open.
Chesterfield.
Yeah, I feel like I'm falling asleep.
Well, that's where you're coming up to the very last bit. But just enjoy this part because this is where we get to thank some of our Patreon supporters and they tell us their favourite primates.
Awesome.
Did I tell you mine?
What is yours?
This episode? I've got a new one.
Oh.
I was very happy to discover that this primate exists. It is probably the coolest primate.
He's padding while he finds it on his phone.
I'll give you, while you're finding that, I'll tell you Alexandra's favourite. And that is the squirrel monkey. Because that was Pippi Longstocking's pet, which she loved when she was a kid. I forgot that Pippi Longstocking had a pet monkey. We could do the Pippi Longstocking film.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that, Alexandra. So if you want to support this show and other shows in this network, including Dave's Book Cheat, which is a show all about classic novels, or Do Go On, which is our podcast about all sorts of fun stuff, like...
Good sell.
This week's episode, Dave's about a man who could eat anything.
Yes, a Frenchman, Terrare, in the 18th century, who basically could eat absolutely anything and did eat everything in front of him.
It's so gross.
He had an insatiable hunger, and then he turned that hunger into his job.
What a guy. That was a great story.
Crazy story, but
who live their passion.
But yeah, exactly. I do not
live it, breathe it, eat your passion.
Love that.
And also Dean Clark. Dean Clark's favourite primate is the Pokemon Primate, because Pokemon are better than real animals.
Oh, I do like Primate. So there's Mankey. Do you know much about Pokemon, Matt? So there's a Pokemon called Mankey, and then when it evolves into Primate.
Ah, right. That sounds real cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I'm pretty sure he has boxing gloves.
Oh, I love it.
Or at least big fists.
Yeah, I think I remember him now.
I reckon we'll probably definitely have to do a Primate episode someday.
No, I'm definitely keen.
You still needing me to pad? Not that
No, I found out the howler monkey. Have you ever had anyone suggest this one?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, howler monkeys are cool.
It's so cool. It's the largest of the New World monkeys native to South and Central American forests. These monkeys are very famous for their loud howls. Why they called the howler monkey?
That makes sense.
And one of only a few nest-building monkeys in the world.
Ah.
So it builds a nest.
Love that.
There you go, howler monkey.
Howler monkey, that's a cool looking monkey. I'll post a photo of that on social media, which is, what's this show called? Primates Pod. And that's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and at Gmail. Kevin Ulysses Packrad, a great supporter of the show, he says his favourite primate has got to be Gigantopithecus, because they seem really cool and could be an actual Bigfoot, though they're extinct. Or I guess my favourite primate could be Bigfoot. Either way.
Great.
I love Bigfoot. I'm going to do a Bigfoot episode as well, for sure. Probably Harry and the Hendersons with John Lithgow.
There we go. Yep. Wonderful.
And then finally, Sarah Young, her favourite is Diddy Kong. She says, she put it with an exclamation. That's why I read it out.
Yeah,
Diddy
nice.
Kong.
Good level of energy there, yeah.
He races and has banana pistols.
So cute.
Like, I don't think
You can have it all.
You can't argue with that as reasoning for why it's the best primate.
That's a good choice.
You can have it all, both racing and banana pistols.
Yep, that's all I've ever wanted.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks so much for staying up with me tonight, you guys.
I'm going to bed. Dave's already asleep.
Before you do you have anything to plug?
Nah. My butt.
Plug. What about your Twitter or something?
Oh, yeah. Jess underscore Perkins on Twitter. Jess Perkins on Instagram. Do go on pod. And that's what I do.
If you're in Australia, you can hear Jess weekly on Triple J.
That's true.
Popping up in different shifts at all times of day. She'll be on there in the afternoon, the morning, the night, the mid-morning, the midnight.
Tell you
the
what.
early days.
The early days.
Dave, what about you, man?
You did already mention my podcast Book Cheat, which is relatively new, so I'd love if people get on board there, where each week or each episode, it comes out twice a month. I've read a classic book or a play, and I give two very funny people a cheat book to it. So by the end of the episode, both you and they will be able to pretend you've read it. So far, I've done Othello from Shakespeare. I have done The Great Gatsby. I've done The Picture of Dorian Gray. And Of Mice and Men is the most recent episode. And both Matt and Jess here have been on an episode each, and it's a bit of fun.
Had a real good fun time.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'd highly recommend checking out that show. But that is all the time we have for this week. If you want to check us out on social media, like I say, it's Primates Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can email at primatespod@gmail.com. And if you want to support us on Twitter, on Patreon.
Support me on Twitter. I need it. Tweet in praise now.
On Patreon, our Patreon is patreon.com/dogoonpod. And you get stuff like shout outs at the end of episodes, but you also get bonus episodes for Do Go On and other things. Lots of fun stuff on there. It would be so cool if you could give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever you listen to us on. Dave's podcast,
just give us a 5-star on Twitter.
Book Cheat has got way more positive reviews than me.
And you're not bitter about it at all.
And I've existed for much longer than him. I'm much older, centuries older than Dave, and it feels unjust.
I know.
I'm sorry. Look, I've given you a 5-star review.
He's just that good.
I've only got one iTunes account. I can't do it again.
No, Dave definitely deserves more. I understand that. It's fair enough. But it'd be nice if you had the time. No pressure, of course. Don't think I'm going around pressuring you. I'm not pressuring you.
See, that's your problem. I pressured my listeners.
I think it's so nice that you're listening at all, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much for that. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. Jess, at the end of the episodes, we always go out on a riff sort of catchphrase that we pretend we say every week.
Okay.
Dave, thanks so much for joining us this week.
Thank you. See you soon.
I think we'll probably see you again on next week's episode.
I can only hope.
And we're going to do it during the day, so we are awake the whole way through. Jess, thanks so much. We'll see you next week as well. And as we always say on Primates Podcast,
Bananarama.
We sure do. Laters.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.